Hey, hey, this is kind of cool.
Silverbolt to Rattrap. What is your status?
Oh, just call me Ratfish.
Too much energy.
Maximize!
Alert. Quantum surge detected. Vector 597.
No, not that.
Greetings, Predacons, and welcome to episode 38 of Too Much Energon, a Lasercomb podcast where we talk about Beast Wars shit and talk shit about Beast Wars. I'm one of your hosts, Christopher Siege.
I am your other host, NeoCal.
Yes. What's going on this week, Cal?
Family BS and
Yeah,
moving stress and all that stuff.
all that fun stuff. But,
Watching one of the most compelling episodes of Beast Wars to date.
but did you have a pleasure such as mine today of having a woman randomly freak out on you at work?
I don't even need to be at work for that.
Hey-o!
Oh,
Oh, God.
the old ball and chain, huh?
I don't need a bag. I got one at home.
You just turned into Rhinox.
Yeah. I didn't even know he was married. No.
There's a lot of things about Rhinox we don't know.
Yeah, so I was at work today, and this woman, she was standing in front of this like 3-tiered wire rack, and each level of it had a different product in it. So she's standing in front of it, and just says to me, "What is that?" And I'm like, "What is what?" And she's like, "What are those?" And I'm like, "What are what? What are you talking about?" And she like lifts her leg up and like kicks the bin, and she's like, "Those!" And I'm like, "Well, you don't need, like, you can't be kicking stuff around here, lady." She's like, "Tell me what they are."
Where is she?
Yeah.
So this person is 12, correct?
She was probably more like 45, honestly. Yeah, she just like keeps yelling. I'm like, "Lady, like you can't, like I'm not gonna help you now. You can't be yelling at me."
Yeah, we're
Like,
the store isn't fully automated yet. These are human beings you're dealing with.
yeah, we're not. I don't work at the self-serve like Amazon grocery store.
Oh God.
Yeah. So it was a very bizarre interaction, and she's like, "Well, tell me what they are. Like, you're not telling me because you don't know. You're too stupid," or something along those lines. And I'm like, "Well, it says, like, if you look at the package, it says right on it what it is. So apparently you can't even read the package, and you're calling me stupid."
Christopher, are you shaming a lady for not knowing how to read?
Yes, because, well, Well, she didn't. You see, she did not look like Kate Winslet. No.
Yes. Yes, there's a the reader joke that I could insert in here somewhere, but we talked about this previously.
Yeah, we talked about it on our on this week's outtake, which is a Patreon exclusive. So go subscribe if you want to hear that story.
The reader was an easy read. Like it's a little bit light.
How appropriate, given that it's called The Reader. Appropriate or ironic?
Appropriate. Yeah. Let's go.
It could also be ironic.
Yeah, it could. I don't want to spoil it though.
But yeah, very very bizarre interaction with this lady, and eventually I told her to leave the store, and she kind of just did without incident.
No more kicking stuff.
Yeah, no more kicking stuff. I had a guy the other day like straight up threaten to kill me at work.
Oh yeah? Well, I'll kill you.
I'll kill you more.
I'll kill you first.
I'll kill you so much.
I'll kill you 3 times before you hit the ground.
Yeah, outside of my work,
Outside
of my work the other day, we were so because of COVID stuff, when we're opening up the store in the morning, we have these like orange pylons that we have to put in front of the store, and then put up like caution tape to for people to line up, basically. So I was putting these pylons out, and there were these 2 dudes out there, and one of them was doing push-ups and stuff. I was like, oh god, these guys are on meth or something. Cause yeah, for the listeners, I work where I work is in a very very shitty part of very very infamous part of our city.
Yeah, it's like the hub of street people?
Yep.
Yeah.
Unsheltered folk.
There we go.
But yeah, anyway, so I was like, oh god, these guys are on meth or something. Then this guy does kicks his foot over the top of the pylon, and then he grabs it and moves it, and I was like, hey man, can you not? Okay, I'm trying to set these up, can you not move them? And he grabs it. He's like, oh yeah, sure. And he grabs it and then moves it again. I was like, dude, can you just move on, please? And then he's like, you know what? Fuck you. And grabs the pylon and throws it, and then picks it up and then throws it again. And the guy I was like, okay, you need to leave, dude. We're gonna call security. And the guy spat at me several times, 3 or 4 times, and insulted my weight, called me a fat fuck. He hurled a homophobic slur at me, threatened to kill me, and then was like, I have military training. I could do it, and I'll get away with it. I'm a veteran, you fucking insert homophobic slur. Yeah, so we called the police, and they were doing that typical tough guy thing of yeah, go ahead, fucking call the cops. But then when it became clear that my colleague was actually on the phone with the police, they booked it.
Yeah, they always do.
Yeah.
I worked security downtown for a decade. Yeah. It's funny because the police don't want to have to deal with it. You don't want to have to deal with it, but it's why do those people want to deal with it?
Right?
Do some people thrive off conflict? Why? What do they hope to gain out of that exchange? Street cred?
street cred. Meanwhile, like,
Is that a type of cryptocurrency? Street cred.
street coin?
Street coin.
What I'm waiting for, like, I'm not into the crypto biz. Not really my jam. But if someone comes out with Siege coin, then I'm gonna be all over that.
You have to.
I just have to. Yeah. Got to do it. Yeah.
Speaking of Siege, this episode's got some tank in it. It's got a crab tank.
Yeah, we're
Did you know that Rampage like turns around and fires the missiles out of his butt?
I did not.
I was watching this and he turns around and he fires like the missiles from behind him in one of his forms. So he can still shoot the missiles when he's in his crab form, but I'll point it out when if I notice it in the episode. There's a lot to love in this episode.
Yes, love. Love is the word. I did like that little tune, swashbuckling tune that plays when Rattrap's bombing around in the submarine.
There's some interesting moments here.
Some interesting choices are made. Yes.
Yeah.
It seems like as good of time as any to segue into talking about the episode. But first, here is a word about our Patreon. Do you want to hear more Lasercomb content each week? Is one episode of Too Much Energon or Alphanumeric just not enough? Then subscribe to Lasercomb Patreon, where starting at a mere $5 Canadian per month, you get exclusive bonus recordings of Christopher Siege, NeoCal, and AP Sniddler shooting the shit, access to the Lasercomb Discord, monthly shoutouts, and more. Higher tiers include bonus video content, the ability to pitch future podcast content to us, a free t-shirt, and more. Support Too Much Energon and Alphanumeric by joining the Lasercomb Patreon today.
How do you do it?
Oh.
It's like the worst shadow puppet ever.
So this is episode 38 of Too Much Energon. This week we are talking about the third episode of the third season of Beast Wars, Changing of the Guard. It originally...
Deep Metal Part 2?
In spirit, yes. It originally aired on November 8th, 1998. So... Episode opens outside of Ark Mountain, and the doorway that we saw introduced last episode has been shot to shit. So at some point between last week and this week, a big battle went on.
Yeah, it's kind of like a makeshift giant gate they have for their like makeshift base around the Ark in the mountain.
Yeah. Yeah, they have these, we saw them last week, these big, like, steel doors, but now they've been shot to shit. And so Rhinox is, like, trying to get, tap into Teletran 1's, defense systems to, basically use it to defend Ark Mountain. Not just the Ark, but Ark Mountain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It doesn't work.
Presumably... No.
Yeah. Doesn't work, and Rhinox comments that Autobot tech and Maximal tech is just too different and kind of hard to work with. Which makes sense, because, like, I mean, the Ark is millions of years old at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's like having, like, a 5-year-old iPhone. None of the cords are gonna work. The charger, yeah.
It's like trying to sync your iPhone 12 with a iPod Nano.
Oh God, that doesn't even exist. Impossible, basically impossible.
Is such a thing even possible? No, it's not.
No, it's not.
So yeah, shit doesn't work, and
They
Optimus.
bicker.
Yeah,
They do bicker shit.
yeah, and Optimus is like, well, we've got to recover Sentinel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's our only choice.
yeah.
Hey,
Literally our
Dogbot.
only choice, because otherwise, basically, like, they're always in a defensive position right now because they're constantly getting attacked because they don't have a security system.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Not a good position to be in.
Optimus says this
So,
war could go on forever.
and I'm like, why are you saying this in season 3 and not in 1 and 2?
What about ending the Beast Wars once and for all?
Megatron's been trying to do that, damn it. So
Y'all keep stopping him.
the summary is they can't find depth charge. He's off doing depth charge bullshit. But they had Black Arachnia make a little submersible.
Yeah, because Sentinel is still with the rest of the Axalon, which is...
And it fell over the waterfall and into, they call it a lake. I guess it's just a very big lake it fell in. It seems like the ocean.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe
The
it's
water.
a lake.
It fell into the water.
Yeah, yeah. So it's deep underwater, and yeah, like you said, Black Arachnia builds a little like one-man submarine.
And
Not-
apparently
not a
it's
yellow
not.
one.
Yeah, it's it's not able to be detected because it's powered completely by hand.
Mm-hmm. Clever.
But a Maximal has to get inside of it.
So presumably you could just scan for maximal energy signatures, which we've seen
they
them.
have done dozens of times.
Yeah, we've seen them do like in almost every fucking episode of this show.
So right away I'm like, okay. Yeah, sure.
So
Or maybe because it's made out of steampunk parts, it blocks their scanners. Steampunk parts are brass. I don't know.
seems legit. I mean, why not,
Yeah,
right?
why not?
So-
Yeah.
so
Black
Ra-
Arachnia's like, so when am I going?
Oh yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
Optimus
Primal's
is
like,
like,
you're not.
yeah, don't even think about it. Not a chance, lady.
But then he explains it's like you don't even know what you'd be looking for.
Yeah,
Like Rattrap is familiar with like the systems. He knows how to get in and out, and he's the only one small enough besides Black Arachnia to even operate it.
Can you
So
imagine,
there's
can you imagine Rhinox trying to fit in that thing? He gets like
No.
one leg in there.
Optimus could wear it as a helmet.
Yeah, right?
The size differences between all of them are getting crazy. I like that though. I like that like Optimus is like this and like Rattrap is like this. Oh, 3D. There we go. Woo! Like huge differences.
So, much like,
Dun dun. Jesus, that is chonk. So
So for-
Christopher has. Go ahead.
so for the audio listeners, I grabbed my Optimal Optimus toy from 1998 and my Rattrap toy from the War for Cybertron Kingdom line of 2020.
That's actually probably to scale.
And the scale is at like pretty spot on.
Yeah,
In the show.
Rattrap's the size of one of his legs.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, the size difference is Optimus is probably about 4 times the height of Rattrap.
So that optimal Optimus is actually, man, I'll never get around that name. That's actually from '98.
Yep.
Wow, that's fucking shiny.
Let's check this out too. If I can remember how to do it. Where? He has a button on him to like make shit light up. And it still works. Oh, here we go.
Somewhere. Oh, it has. Oh, his chest gats light up.
And his eyes.
Oh, and his eyes.
If you're watching this on video,
Wild.
yeah. And so this toy is from 1998, and the lights and electronics in it still work.
You mean
Amazingly enough.
you didn't have to replace any battery?
Nope. I mean, I did buy it last year off of a guy off of Craigslist, and he said he was a collector. So he may have swapped out the battery at some point. I don't know.
Sometimes things just work.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Speaking of the plan, they bicker for like 2 whole minutes on the show. And then Optimal is like, would you do it for a Scooby snack? And he's like, Rattrap's like, ruh-ruh. And then he's like, 2 Scooby snacks? Okay. And he ends up going. I don't even remember why he put up a fuss and then ended up agreeing.
He didn't want to go underwater because he's not a water rat, as he put it. And Optimus is like, well, if we are constantly in a defensive position, this war could go on forever. We'll never get back to Cybertron. And
The C word.
And Rattrap's like, man, you just had to use the C word.
Yeah, Cybertron.
Yeah.
Yeah, because using his desire to get back home is the only way it will convince him.
Which
And then we have a weird.
I guess.
Go ahead.
I guess. I mean,
It's
you think
entirely too long argument.
you think maybe just not dying would be motivation enough?
Apparently not. He wants to go home and hit the strip clubs with Silverbolt and Cheetor.
Yeah.
Speaking of Cheetor, there's a weird like daydream sequence.
Oh yeah.
It's so bizarre, and the show's never done anything like this. So, Rattrap looks at Cheetor, and he has this weird fucking smile on his face, and he's like, what's your deal, bub?" And a cloud, like a cartoon cloud, forms up above Cheetor's head.
A very comic
And-
book-esque thought balloon.
Yeah, like a thought bubble pops up, and it's original, like OG Cheetor in his cheetah form, like bouncing like a ball around. And Cheetor's like, "Oh, I was just like imagining like hitting you inside of that thing as if it's like a ball." And he laughs, and Rhinox like laughs at like that innocence.
Yeah. It's weird.
And
Like
I
the-
like the lightheartedness of it, but it's weird, right?
The show has gotten plenty cartoony like several times, but like that's
Never that.
that was just strange.
And it continues. There's a couple more cartoony moments.
The pinball scene. The
Turns
pinball
into
scene.
Sonic
Sonic spinball.
Super spinball, yeah.
Yeah. Which Sonic Spinball was out at this time, so maybe
Oh,
inspiration there. Who knows? I certainly don't. Don't care either.
as someone who loves all things Sonic, I challenge you to a duel. So we
You
have.
see that Sonic movie?
I was so hyped for it, but then they made Sonic look less like a gremlin and more like actual Sonic, and then I was less hyped for it.
Really?
I wanted like human chiclet teeth, like creepy, like muscular leg Sonic. I wanted it to be like terrible. Because here's the thing, all the people complaining, "Oh, that's hashtag not my Sonic," all that stuff, they weren't going to go watch it anyway.
Mm.
Like, did them changing and then another part of me is like the conspiracy like theory part where I'm like, what if they purposely released ugly Sonic in the trailers knowing people would freak the fuck out, and then that would generate hype for when they changed it to classic Sonic, people would actually go and want to watch it.
Fixing it bankrupted that animation studio.
That
So
it bothered me.
yeah.
Really, oh man.
People lost their jobs over it. That movie's actually pretty good though. It's better than you'd think.
Here's the thing. I know other people are boycotting him and they don't like him or whatever. I fucking like Jim Carrey, and it feels like 90s Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
And Sonic is 90s. I don't know why I haven't seen it. Just haven't gotten around to it.
Well, I know
Need to
Jim
be in the right
Carrey
mode.
kind of went crazy in the mid 2010s, but he seems to have mellowed out.
Gone back to normal crazy.
Yeah.
Instead of
Not
weird.
Yeah, he's
crazy.
gone back to fun crazy, not
Doesn't he have a children's book about death?
He has a show. I can't remember what it's called now. I think it's in its second or third season now. But he has this show on, I think it's on Showtime, where he plays basically Mr. Rogers, whose like wife leaves him, and then he kind of like comes unglued and like starts fucking like a terminally ill cancer patient and.
Sounds like that
I think it was called like Mr. Happy or something like that. Maybe?
Remember that Robin Williams TV show where he was like a mascot for like a kids show and he got like fired?
Vaguely. Okay, it's not Mr. Happy. I'm looking up Jim Carrey's Wikipedia page. Television.
Booyah. All
Kid.
right, folk.
It's called Kidding.
Oh, I was thinking of Death to Smoochie.
No, this is a TV series that ran from 2018 to 2020. It was canceled after 2 seasons. I watched I watched like the first half of season 1.
So
It was an odd show.
You know how I was talking about didn't like Jim Carrey write a book about like death for kids?
Right.
It's called How Roland Rolls. And it's he won a children's book award for it. It's a story about a wave named Roland who's afraid that one day when he hits the beach his life will be over. But when he gets deep, he's struck by the notion that he's not just a wave. He's part of a whole bigger, wider ocean. The story shows humanity's interconnectedness throughout the metaphor of a wave in the ocean and the acceptance that we're only a part of it.
Well, the reason why, when you brought that up, why I thought of that show Kidding is because he starts, after his wife leaves him, he starts like wanting... No, you know what? There was a car accident and one of their kids died, I think, in the car accident. And the other kid survived, and his wife ended up leaving him. Like, kicked him out of the house. Just because of, like, grief and whatnot. And so he starts becoming obsessed with death and, like, wanting to, like, introduce the concept of death and talk about death, frankly, on this, like, show for preschoolers. And his producers are like, no!
Okay, if he wrote How Roland Rolls... Oh, okay, so his midlife crisis, Jim Carrey's midlife crisis, was facing his fear of death. Because that's clearly came out in the fact that he wrote a children's book about it, and he did that TV show you were mentioning.
Yeah.
And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I should go and watch the Sonic movie.
Yes, you should. It's fun.
I will.
Yeah, so what's going on
Can you
here?
tell this episode's great? So there's annoying Silverbolt and Rattrap banter as Silverbolt's flying, like with his talons holding Rattrap in the submersible, and he just like drops the ball, drops him into the water.
He literally drops the ball.
He does, and he sinks, and into the water, and Rattrap freaks out, starts hitting buttons, and then like starts
Paddling.
like those manual. Do you remember those manual uh cars for kids? Not the Power Wheels, which actually had the battery, but like the Flintstone ones, or the ones that had like a little like foot engine paddle thingy. Do you remember those? Those were like Power Wheels for the poor kids.
I was gonna say for poor kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You used your feet to like row, paddle.
Yeah. And this thing that he's holding is the exact same shape as the bars that you would like
Put your feet on.
Put your feet on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm with you now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's like, "Oh, geez, I hope this works," and it does.
It's some very delightful music starts playing. Dude, if you're listening to this podcast, you've heard it because it's at the very beginning of the episode. So, it's that music.
Yeah, and Rattrap's like, "This is kind of cool."
I think it's funny that when it cuts away to Silverbolt holding a radio, the music that's playing while Rattrap is like row
like
your
that.
boating can be heard through the radio. Filtered through the radio.
I was so confused. I paused it and turned to my partner, and I was like, "That music just isn't just on the show. The music's coming from the submersible."
Yeah.
Like, did Black Arachnia program that song to play inside of? Yes.
Maybe?
Because, like you said, Silverbolt like looks at the radio and he's like confused about why there's music.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite moment in this episode.
It's one of the redeeming moments. That's humorous.
Will it be enough to get a too much Energon rating? Listen to the end of this podcast and you'll find out. Spoiler alert, probably not.
Doom. So Rattrap is like, "Hey, that evil Lady Arachnia of yours finally did something right." And Silverbolt's like, yes, my beloved has many skills," or something like that.
Silverbolt
and thighs
bullshit.
for days.
And them titties.
Let's not forget her most valuable asset, her mind.
Both of them.
So we get a Rattrap kind of moment where, just like James Cameron, he's exploring the deep blue sea.
Jacques
And-
Cousteau.
Yeah, he's Jacques Cousteauing it up. I mean, did Jacques Cousteau go underwater?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what he
Good
was
enough
known
me.
for.
Yeah, he was known for being in a metal thing that goes underwater. Submarine. There we go.
Jacques Cousteau was a 1910 to 1997 was a French naval officer, explorer, conservationalist, filmmaker, innovator, scientist, photographer, author, and researcher who studied the sea and all forms of life in water. I remember he had a TV show in the 90s on the Discovery Channel where he was exploring like undersea wreckage. And stuff.
That's vaguely familiar. When was he born?
1910. He lived from June 11th, 1910 to June 25th, 1997. So he died right after he turned 87.
What a period to be alive. To see like to be around at the birth of like airplanes, and to go out like in the late 90s. Amazing. He must have seen the world change.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when my grandma was like, we were the first one on the block with a color television. But we still had to heat our home with the fire stove, and we didn't even have oil heating yet. And I'm like, oil heating? That was a thing?
Yeah, apparently.
Can you imagine trying to talk to, presumably, if we end up having kids, telling them that we were born like before what they consider the internet? They'd be like, no way. We'll be like, yes way, before smartphones.
Oh, by then we probably won't even have smartphones. It'll be like the next thing.
Google Glass making a comeback. Maybe.
You ever hear about that guy who got arrested in a movie theater for wearing Google Glass? Well, he didn't get arrested. He got kicked out, and then he made a scene. So they phoned the police, or they contacted the FBI. So they phoned the police, and then the police contacted the FBI because what the theater told them was that he was using his Google Glass to pirate the movie, like to record the movie, which he wasn't doing. But so him and his wife or girlfriend or whatever ended up being detained by the FBI for like 6 hours or something like that. This happened like back in the early 2010s, I think.
The only story I recall of Google Glass was there was a lady, like an influencer, who got asked to leave a restaurant because they were uncomfortable and some of the patrons were uncomfortable with being recorded.
Mm.
And she was like, live streaming or getting video for a blog or whatever back then.
Right.
And she ended up like talking shit about it, and the place was like Yelp review bombed. Like people that hadn't even gone there, that weren't even from the city, all started leaving like 0 out of 5 like reviews and stuff, and she like destroyed like the business.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Preemptively, business shitlords, man. Businesses preemptively just banned Google Glass from being allowed on site.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
People go into restaurants and movie theaters with motherfucking Google Glass.
Yeah, take it off. Because like it wasn't, you couldn't
Slowly.
actually get like a prescription. Slower, faster, good. Reminds me of I was just about to say Ace Ventura. I have Jim
Bumblebee
Carrey
tuna.
on mine. Bumblebee tuna.
Bumblebee tuna.
Fucking
Me and a
Austin
coworker
Austin
of mine
Powers.
now greet each other with Bumblebee tuna all the time at work. Because we were talking like maybe a month ago. I can't even remember why, but we started talking about Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, and like I just jokingly started after that. Like immediately after that conversation ended, I just jokingly started like walking through the store, like addressing coworkers by saying "Bumblebee tuna, Bumblebee tuna, hey, Bumblebee tuna." And so now me and this coworker just say like greet each other by saying Bumblebee tuna now.
When I was younger, man, how old was I? 13, 12? That movie came out just at the right time for my cousins and my siblings and I to all watch it like dozens of times, right?
Right.
Like,
I did that with The Mask.
We watched The Mask like a nauseating amount of times. Yeah. The Mask was good.
I gotta revisit Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls because I haven't seen it in probably like 20 years. The first film, there are some things about the first film that haven't aged particularly well. Some transphobic stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm not in a hurry to revisit that one, but I think the second one's probably still funny, maybe.
I remember the rhinoceros giving birth scene. Well, it has seared itself into my memory. Truly the epitome of comedy in the 90s.
Yeah, truly the pinnacle of sophisticated humor.
I agree. Oh man.
Speaking of sophistication, Beast Wars.
Yeah, can you tell this episode is great?
So Rattrap's bombing around in Jacques Cousteau's sub, and he finds the wreckage of the Axalon and goes to the. He like swims around and goes to the Sentinel control room that we saw in that season 1 episode of Better Mousetrap, and he actually finds like that exact console, which I'm like, hey, cool. They actually like it's the same room, except underwater.
And then a giant enemy crab finds him first.
Yeah.
Yep. Rampage grabs him.
Holy fuck,
And he-
Rampage is big compared to this thing. He's able to hold this like submersible with one pincher.
Yep.
Quite easily too.
Yeah, and he starts torturing him, slowly squeezing, talking shit to him. I love the voice actor for Rampage. I'll give him that.
Yeah, we brought that up on last week's
Come
last
out,
week's.
come out. Time to play. And then, I don't know. I don't think he's cool, man. I think he's fucking lame. Depth charge. He comes out of nowhere and he's like, try someone your own size if you want to play. And he shoots underwater lasers at Rampage,
Yeah.
which makes him go, ugh!
And he tells Rattrap to fuck off, basically, because, as he puts it, X and I play rough. And so, they're presumably about to fight. And I haven't seen any of Season 3 beyond this point since it originally aired in 1999. I've never revisited Season 3.
Oh, all right. So it'll be semi-fresh for you, too.
I remember, like, the broad strokes, basically, of what happens, but, like, I'm getting very concerned that the show, from here on out, is going to be the Depth Charge fights Rampage extravaganza in every episode.
They fight. Fight.
Yeah.
The Depth Charge and Rampage show.
Because they fought last week, which, fair, that was the episode that introduced Depth Charge. But now, the following week, we have the big battle of the show is them fighting again. And I'm like, I'm sensing a pattern here.
Yeah.
If these motherfuckers fight again next week, I'm
You're throwing in the towel.
I might be done. Not actually. I'm seeing this show through to the end and beyond. But I might start to check out mentally a little bit at that point.
I've beaten you to it. I'm talking about Sonic the Hedgehog and Ace Ventura and Itchy and Scratchy and
Crackheads at my work.
Crackheads at your work.
Bumblebee Tuna.
So there's a part in this episode, I think it's right here, where Megatron's like, minions! And he opens a vid window. Again, I don't know how he's seeing them on his monitor.
Yeah.
But there's appears to be Quick Strike, Waspinator, and Inferno playing Cybertronian poker.
Yeah.
Like they have like hexagonal cards.
I was going to point out, I wonder if the cards are a reference, the shape of the cards is a reference to Battlestar Galactica.
Oh.
Because everything in Battlestar Galactica, like paper and whatnot, cards and all of that, they none of them have like pointed edges. Like there are no, like nothing's rectangular. It could be nothing, but that's just looking at it right now. That's just what it makes me think of is the cards in Battlestar Galactica.
I think, yeah, it's similar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cheers. So yeah, they're playing poker.
Yeah, they're playing with hexagonal cards. And they get surprised and they hide them. And he's like, "Minions, go do your thing." Or are they pentagons? No, they're hexagonal. They got 6 sides.
Yeah, he tells his cronies that something has interfered with the Maximal's attempt to salvage Sentinel. Move into position. So it's like, did Megatron know that? I guess Megatron knew that this was going on and had some kind of plan set up.
So earlier, it showed a little drone thing staring at Silverbolt.
Oh, okay.
Just a brief little like scene of like a crosshair kind of like, or a camera like HUD zooming in and watching like Silverbolt as Silverbolt was on the comms.
Right.
So
can you tell how invested I am in this episode?
I'm amazed I remembered. And he presumably they were spying and they're like waiting. So why they're not just attacking Silverbolt or whatever, and why Megatron has his cronies in wait, we'll see. But he's got some sort of plan.
Why didn't he just use Rampage to go get Sentinel to begin with?
Because the show sometimes forgets to write things that make sense. So, again, the issue comes up with, find out how Rampage is avoiding our scanners. Dude, you have a torture device in your hand.
Yeah.
That makes him agonizing. Keep squeezing that every 5 minutes until he comes home like a good boy.
Yeah.
And then get him to go and retrieve whatever you want from the wreckage yourself. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I was so disinterested in the episode that I never even thought about that. Go get Rampage to get it.
Yeah. Why? Yeah, it's...
So if you cut to 10:58 in the episode, you see him jump up onto a rock, turn his butt towards the camera, and shoot missiles from his ass.
Oh, yeah.
So in his crab form, he can still fire his missiles. I don't know if we've seen that yet on the show, but he quite clearly shoots missiles out of his ass. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I think that's his, when he goes into tank mode, I think that might be his gun, his front cannon.
It is. Yeah. So I guess it's behind him when he's in crab mode all this time.
And, yeah, he just, shits torpedoes out.
But only behind him, I guess.
Yeah.
And then Depth Charge fires, he has torpedoes as well. And they shoot a torpedo at each other, and of course, they meet in between them and blow up.
Yeah, of course. Some excellent aim.
Never tell me the odds. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, them exploding like shakes the Axalon loose, and the force of that starts making Rattrap in his little submarine like shimmy and shake around, and that makes him drop not quite almost drop Sentinel, but he doesn't.
Yeah. And then the Axalon appears to fall over an underwater cliff that was on into a much deeper crevasse.
And it
Oh, I
appears
forgot.
to crush Rampage.
And Rampage, who is sparring with Depth Charge, appears to crush both of them.
So
And
so Rattrap blows the ballast tanks and floats back to the surface, and him and Silverbolt exchange some words, and Silverbolt picks him up. And now Silverbolt is suddenly having a hard time carrying Rattrap in the submarine, which I don't get because he was carrying him just fine earlier. But now he's just like,
"Ugh, such a heavy load."
yeah.
And I'm like, he has a computer chip. How much heavier is this? A video game where you've reached your max encumbrance?
Yeah.
Like 275 pounds. A-okay. 276? I
Can't fast travel now, bro. That 1 pound was the difference maker.
That was yeah. Yeah. Drop those necromancer boots, man. They're only worth 4 gold each. So apparently
Eat those 20 cheese wheels now.
is there a better time than now?
And
why do you have 11 torches? Do you need 11?
Waspinator shows up.
Waspinator. Well, okay. So to give the show some credit, Sentinel isn't just on like a chip. It appears to be this like big, heavy kind of like console like device.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, but I mean, again, like, how much more weight is that than the submersible and Rattrap?
I will
Anyways.
tell you how much. Too much.
Too much weight. Yeah, so what were you saying? Waspinator shows up and he says, "Ooh, Waspinator."
Yeah, he shows up and like shoots Silverbolt out of the air,
And we get my favorite part of the show.
yeah, so
Silverbolt drops Rattrap.
yeah, Silverbolt drops Rattrap, still in the submersible, and Rattrap falls onto the shore, which has a bunch of like
Rocky outcropping.
yeah, and he literally starts like Sonic spinballing around.
Do 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 do.
And it even makes like pinball sounds as he's like bonking around this like cluster of rocks. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
the show's we're aware it's for kids, people. Like, but like, it's very cartoony.
yeah,
This episode.
this episode, like,
Which
and
is
I-
weird because like
I ended
there
up
was a
being like
creepy
complete,
torture scene with Rampage like 2 minutes ago.
like I was completely on board with like the Looney Tunes shit of the Energon fart episode.
But that worked. It was cohesive. It lended to the story. We both loved that episode.
Yeah, that's great. That like spoilers, but I suspect that will definitely be in my top 10 episodes of the entire series when we count that down eventually.
Yeah, what was it called?
The Low Road,
The Low Road.
I think.
Good memory. Yeah.
I think it was episode 23 of season 1.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a while ago now.
Yeah, so
38 episodes of the podcast.
Sonic Spinball comes to it. Christopher, I don't know if you have an HD version or something. Oh, does it say game over? So red, like LEDs flash behind Rattrap's eyes.
Okay.
Just briefly, kind of like an alarm clock. like those old like red, bright like alarm. I don't know how to digital alarm clock. And his eyes are flashing red when he's upside down when he comes to a still at around 13 minutes and 10 seconds. I want to say it says game over. I'm going HD, folks. Oh, it already is.
Yeah, I can't quite make
It's
it
too
out.
fuzzy on my end. I want to say game over.
I wonder.
Do you see it too?
Yeah, I see it.
Not
I
crazy?
wonder.
Okay.
I wonder if it might be like a slot machine thing.
A slot machine thing or a pinball thing? Oh man. I should have Googled this earlier before the show.
Oh, you know
I
what?
noticed it.
I'm gonna look on the Transformers wiki.
Oh, it'll tell us.
Well, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
There was something last week, I think, that I was convinced would be on the Transformers wiki, because I was like, oh, this has got to be a thing, right? And lo and behold, no.
Let's see. Ball save? No.
Ball sack.
Extra ball? Gobble hole. I'm actually looking at a glossary of pinball terms. Match mode. Multi-ball.
The word tilt flashes in each
Tilt,
of Rattrap.
that's what I was trying to...
Is that a
Tilt.
pinball thing?
Yep. When the mechanism detects that you're slamming or like tilting the machine beyond an acceptable level, tilt is allowed. There's a whole pinball culture that is really fascinating. But yeah, if you tilt it too much or it hits too much of an angle or you're smashing it on the sides too much, or roll the machine backwards to cheat, right? Like pick it up and like lift it so the ball goes up. I think all of the parts just like stop, the little bumpers stop shooting out, and the paddles like fall down. And it says tilt on the screen.
Well, now we know. The TF wiki was actually able to it didn't fail us this week. Also, his the delightful little sea shanty is very similar in tempo and chordal arrangement to the Beatles song Yellow Submarine.
There you go. Yeah, it didn't really feel... Is it? I'm going to have to listen to it again. I'll listen to the podcast. Try to do the comparison. There you go, tilt. So the user was getting too aggressive with the Beast Wars pinball machine. Holy shit. Do you think there's a Beast Wars pinball machine?
Maybe?
It's the late 90s, though. Pinball kind of started teetering off, but you never know. I'm going in.
Doing it. One of my exes, an ex of mine's father had a RoboCop pinball machine.
Oh, it doesn't look like... I'm just getting Star Wars because of the word wars.
Mm.
I got excited for a moment.
Well, at least something in this episode excites us. Yes.
So, but to get back to it, for the first time we get to hear Rampage say terrorize to transform. I think it's the first time. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, because we were debating this.
Because we were talking about this last week before. I don't
sometime.
know. A
Yeah.
recent episode of the podcast, we were talking about this, and I was questioning what his activation code would even be, because he's technically a maximal, but he's like subservient to the Predacons against his will right now. So I'm like, what would his activation code even be? Destroy? Brutalize?
Well, he's said. I like that.
But then
he has said, "Rampage, attack."
yeah,
I
yeah.
think it was, or something.
Yeah. Rampage attack, yeah. And so, like, literally, like, right after, like, the very week after we have this conversation on the podcast, the next episode of Beast Wars, he's like, Rampage, terrorize! I'm like, oh, huh.
You'd think he wouldn't want to do that.
There it is.
Yeah. So there we go, folks. He terrorizes.
Yep, that mystery has been solved, folks. You are welcome.
You're welcome. All right, folks. You can find that's been the episode. You can... No, it's not over. Oh,
No,
right. There's other stuff.
It's not over yet. Yeah, to quickly summarize, like, Rampage and, I almost said Silverbolt. Rampage and Depth Charge, bust out of the rubble of the Axalon, so they're not dead. Hooray, I suppose.
And they fight.
And they fight, and Depth Charge is all like, X gonna give it to you.
Yeah, and indeed, Depth Charge is like coming at you, X.
Yeah. And
he transforms into a manta ray, and they fight.
Back
in the water.
Back on land, Quick Strike is there all of a sudden now.
Yeah.
And
well, Waspinator took out Silverbolt, right?
Yeah. So yeah, Quick Strike's there, and he tosses Sentinel over to Waspinator, who's in beast mode, who picks it up and flies away.
I feel like Waspinator does that a lot. He's on, like, carrying duty.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't keep someone like that around for their intellectual capabilities.
Yeah, he's the only one of those three to be able to fly in both of his forms.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, makes sense. You keep him around because he was your buddy in college, and you just can't say goodbye.
You keep him around because he's dumb and is of very little use beyond manual labor.
That's okay. So here's another cartoon.
Hey, I work in a grocery store.
So Depth Charge does something perplexing. This is the third cartoonic moment I mentioned. He grabs him and, like, spins around and, like, tosses him out of the ring. Depth Charge grabs Rampage, tosses him out of the water, and I'm like, that's not how physics works.
I like how you said out of the ring. Because there is actually a wrestler who does that move.
Yeah,
his name's Cesaro.
Yeah.
There might have been someone back in the day who did it, but a modern
Probably.
wrestler who does that is his name's Cesaro. Great wrestler.
He throws him with such force that Rampage flies high out of the water and
lands on Quick Strike.
Lands on Quick Strike with, like, cartoonic sound effects.
Yep.
And before he passes out, Quick Strike says to Rampage, "I've been looking everywhere for you." And I was like, oh, and curious, right? He turns around to see Rampage flying at him, and he's like, what, and something. He does not say what in tarnation, which is funny, because that's probably one of the only times that what in tarnation is called for. When, like, a 70-ton, like, crab tank is flying at you from the heavens. I was expecting him to say what in tarnation. He didn't.
Oh yeah. He's like, what the slaggin'? Something.
Yeah.
What the slaggin'
like,
slag?
That's the perfect. That's the perfect time to say what in tarnation. Okay, whatever. Maybe the writers were tired of writing that into the script every episode. So Depth Charge comes out of the water marching like a badass. X Go and Give It To You is playing in the background.
Yep. And
Silverbolt's like, hey, bro, I understand that you want to kill Rampage. However, hear me out. Immortal monster or thing that can help us win the Beast Wars. Rampage Depth Charge is like, out of my way. I don't have time to play little Beast Wars games, son. And he pushes him out of the way or something.
I don't have time for PlayStation.
I'm an Xbox kid. My partner could actually not even handle how edgy Depth Charge was.
Yeah.
It was like, wait,
Well,
and neither can I.
I commented last week that he
You did.
Yeah, he sounds like a person trying to be tough.
But like
Almost like a caricature. It's like someone like doing a joking impression of Solid Snake.
yeah, it's like
Crab
somebody
battle.
Ah, son of a bitch. Time to take out my knife. Remember what the boss taught me about CQC.
Time to take out my Energon blade.
Which happens.
Yeah.
Which is just the reused asset of Megatron's scalpel.
Yeah. Which, I mean, makes sense. I guess.
It's an Energon blade. They all look the same.
Yeah. Sure, why not?
So what was he hoping to do?
I don't know. Cut his head off.
Cut his spark out like Megatron has done? So here's the thing.
Cut his balls off and feed them to him. That seems like something Depth Charge would want to do.
Torture him for the rest of time? Never let him reform? I don't know. But if he had gone to the Maximals and talked about how they can get Rampage and how they can stop him, they would have been like, oh, don't bother. Megatron has his spark.
Oh, yeah. I guess he wouldn't know that, right?
No.
Yeah.
Which is why I think this scene little happens where he takes out the Energon knife. He doesn't know that because he hasn't communicated with the Maximals. Because being an edgy little douche.
I'm a renegade.
No Guardian here. I'm a renegade.
As someone who actually really liked 90s edginess, it can be a little comical.
Here's the thing though. Anybody wondering what the hell we're talking about? Matrix from Alphanumeric, I actually don't think he's he's edgy cringy. Depth Charge, I'm tired of his shit already.
Yeah. Yeah, I
didn't
didn't
be edgy and distant and cool but also reasonable sometimes.
I didn't remember liking Depth Charge very I didn't remember him at all as a character.
I didn't even remember him. I remember the submersible scene with Rattrap.
Yeah.
I must have completely forgot about Depth Charge. And if we both did, that says a lot.
I do remember I remember that the character's journey, how it how that goes down. So
the broad strokes.
I remember his fate.
Okay.
So
X gonna give it to him.
So look, you'll have something to look forward to if you don't like him.
I feel like I have a lot of things to look forward to. We'll see.
So Waspinator is flying through the air carrying Sentinel, and he's all like, "Oh, Waspinator having good day. Not get shot once." And of course,
like that.
yeah, gets blown out of the air. And I actually, like, when it happened, I was like, oh, poor Waspinator.
I feel like he's turned into the like the poor character we're supposed to feel bad for.
Yeah,
Because again, if he wasn't forced, would he even want to fight?
probably
He doesn't
not.
strike me as somebody who, like, he's not boastful and like wants to like quick strike. Quick strike would want to fight all the time, but like would Waspinator just chill? Would he like go fishing?
I think Waspinator just wants to be like, oh, Waspinator in charge. Today,
in
Waspinator in charge. Today, we go buy crayons and coloring books.
I'm the boss of me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't like Waspinator's a very beloved character amongst the fandom, and like when I was younger, I never really got it because when I was a
Same.
kid, I always found kind of Waspinator kind of lame and
Annoying.
annoying,
Boring.
but now I actually find him incredibly endearing.
When I was a kid, I didn't really think much of Scorponok, Waspinator, or Pterosaur. I was like,
Yeah,
they're gimmicky. Don't really like them. And rewatching it on Too Much Energon, those are kind of like the best.
yeah, characters
Sometimes
that
Sentinel is good.
I've definitely gravitated to different characters than I did when I was younger. Like I really like Rhinox. I think Rhinox might be my favorite Maximal. And
Oh, I didn't like him when I was a kid either.
I didn't not like him when I was a kid, but I didn't. He was kind of nothing to me. He was just the big.
I didn't dislike him.
He was the big Rhino guy.
He's the Rhino guy. Yeah. Same with Optimus.
He was Gorilla Man.
Oh, you and I, yeah, he's Gorilla Man. But I think you and I appreciate Rhinox and Optimus more while we've been watching it as adults.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Waspinator says, "Ooh, Megatron will reward Waspinator." Ah,
So I thought about this earlier, and yeah, because he's like, oh, Megatron will reward Waspinator or give Waspinator vacation. So we've talked since the beginning of this show about like what are characters' motivations to actually like do a good job. Like they always talk about being rewarded by Megatron, and
we're always like time on the Xbox.
Time on the Xbox, yeah. But now Waspinator is like, yeah, he gets he gets the day off, basically. So I'm like, okay,
you get a weekend. You get a weekend off. I guess.
No hauling duty for you for 2 whole days. Cheers. Waspinator's like, finally. But yeah.
Oh, I forgot. There's a big Looney Tunes moment with people smacking into trees. Who is it? Rattrap like spins around.
Right, yeah, Rattrap transforms and stands on top of Silverbolt and then leaps up into the air and does like a quadruple axle like diving like figure skating like bullshit. Like I'm like what are you doing, dude?
He's like spinning around the tree that Inferno pushed over. It's wacky, man. It's wacky. The face that Silverbolt makes at 11:14 when his eyes and mouth just go like wild and he races after Sentinel. So it turns into this Looney Tune moment where somebody drops it falls. So the big reveal is, hey, the reason that the Predacons were waiting is because they want Sentinel intact.
Yeah,
which
makes sense.
We never mentioned that. Yeah. They can have an advanced AI system defending their base.
Well, and it like earlier, Megatron was like, Rampage has interfered with the Maximal's attempt to recover Sentinel into position. So
Oh, right.
it's been alluded to so far,
And he
but
needed to let the Maximals go and get Sentinel, which is why they've just been watching.
instead of,
Yeah.
as I mentioned earlier, instead of just sending Rampage to go get it.
But like, what if all the Maximal? Well, I guess all the Maximals can't come because then no one would be defending the base. Right. You'd think this would be a good mission for Primal to come on.
Yeah, I mean,
He's a jet, and he's huge.
yes.
So yeah, there's the whole "gimme it or I'll burn you. You want it? Come and get it. I'm tired of carrying it." And Rattrap does some weird shit I've never seen in the show. He can extend his tail like 100 feet and grab things with it like he's fishing.
Oh yeah, and
Did you catch that? And then Inferno starts shooting at Rattrap when, because Rattrap turns into his like a hot rod mode,
yeah,
rat rod mode, and goes away. But he had just been pointing a gun at Silverbolt, and he's
car
like, "Give it to
ramrod.
me." Yeah, give me
Say
the
car ramrod.
car ramrod.
Say car ramrod.
Car ramrod.
You didn't say it. Oh, I forgot.
So
Motherfucking Super
Inferno-
Troopers.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in 15. It can't be. Wow, yeah, it is. It's old.
I just
Is it
watched.
that old? Yeah.
Yeah, the movie came out 20 years ago. I was in high school when that movie came out. I think it came
Me
out
too.
in 2001. 2001, 2002.
Yeah, that makes sense. Geez. So there's just weird lots of leaps in logic in this. I'm not going to get too nitpicky about it, but Inferno points the gun at Silverbolt and he's like, "Hand it over. No funny business." Right? Before it's like fished out of his Silverbolt's hand. And Silverbolt's like, "You want it? Come and get it." And then Rattrap takes it. And as Rattrap's driving away, like evading his shots, I'm like, okay, so you didn't shoot Silverbolt point blank, but now that Rattrap has it, you are shooting him? You're not supposed to destroy Sentinel.
Yeah, you'd think.
So, like, the show contradicts itself. Which the show does every now and then, but that seems like a really weird... They just wanted to show a chase scene with explosions.
Yeah. So to kind of summarize, there
Wrap
is
it
like
up,
there's a chase scene that goes down, explosions, like you said. Long story short, the Predacons end up getting Sentinel because
Depth Charge does a dumb-ass move.
because Depth Charge and Silverbolt's like very comically like collide into one another mid-air.
The faces they make are stupid and funny.
Yeah.
So Silverbolt.
I don't like Depth Charge's manta ray face. There's something about it I don't like.
It doesn't feel. We're mammals, right? We can see when cats and dogs and monkeys and stuff, other mammals, have facial expression, right?
Yeah.
When it's like a reptile, even maybe some reptiles, but when it's something like a manta ray that doesn't have any mammalian features, and they try to make it have a face, like a shocked face, it doesn't really register.
Yeah.
With me, I actually rewinded it to like look at the faces they made again, and I thought it was dumb. So what I don't like is they fail because Depth Charge slams into Silverbolt in the air. If Depth Charge didn't have a change of heart and Rampage ran away, that would have never have happened.
Yeah.
But I like it when the Predacons win because of their own plans. not by accident. So it's like I'm okay with the bad guys winning sometimes, right? But it's unsatisfying when they win because of Looney Tunes bullshit. Right? It's the same feeling I have when like Optimus super aped the Axalon.
Yeah.
I was just like, I guess.
Yeah, the fact that the Predacons now have Sentinel because like two characters like very comically collide into one another, it's stupid. This episode's dumb.
The episode's dumb. And now here's the thing: if Waspinator and Quick Strike and Inferno, like Three Stooge, you know how the Three Stooges always manage to like get out of trouble somehow?
Yeah.
I was hoping it would be more like that. And it was kind of Six Stooges. It did kind of have that back and forth, but I wanted the Predacons to get a win. I wanted Waspinator to go, looks like it's mine now, and like catch it and like them play.
Time for vacation.
Fuck you, I really need
Raspinator,
this.
go on holiday.
You have no idea how much Waspinator needs this. Right? And if
He
they
really
played
does.
and if they played Hot Potato, that would be funny and I'd be okay with that. I don't like it when the source of conflict is resolved because one side makes a dumb mistake.
Yeah.
I like it when conflict is resolved when someone is outsmarted or outmaneuvered or outgunned. Anyways, moving on, the Predacons have Sentinel. Bad news bears.
Yep. And so we go back to the Axalon and in Ark Mountain, and Depth Charge is there now.
I didn't realize he's almost as big as Optimus.
Yeah, because he was I think he was a Mega class toy.
Yeah, he's very big.
And Optimal, I think, was a... No, he had to... No, Optimal was a like size class unto himself, I believe, and Depth Charge was a Ultra Beast, and the next one down is Mega Beast, and then Deluxe, then Basic.
The size differences are cool.
Yeah,
I like how he's like, "Hey, Big Bot, let me." Rattrap's like, "Let me at him, yeah," and I'm like, "You're the size of one of Depth Charge's arms." But I mean, hey, Rattrap took down Dinobot a couple times.
So a bunch of bickering goes on, and
Yeah,
Rattrap like blames Depth Charge for everything, and Depth Charge is all like, "What? It was an accident. Fuck off."
and he's like, and Optimal is like, "Bad Depth Charge, very bad." And Rattrap's like, "Blah blah blah. He saved me," and he's like, "Huh?" And he's like, "Yeah, he kind of saved me from Rampage, blah blah blah." And Optimal's like, "Oh, okay."
Now, Rattrap, that's very rude. You thank the nice fish man. You thank the nice fish man for bringing you home safe and sound.
Say thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fishman.
Good. And Mr. Fishman is like, "Don't go getting all gushy on me." But then Optimus actually, like, I actually like this scene here. Optimal is like, because he's Depth Charge is like, "Don't get gushy on me." He goes, "I'm not. You cost us a major strategic advantage. So, like, cut your shit out and work with us or else." And I'm like, "Oh, shit. Fucking tell him, dude."
But what's he
Like,
gonna do if
tired of his shit.
What's he gonna do if he's all like, "Nah, I'm gonna keep just gonna keep going about my business," you know?
He'd be like, "Okay, well, you're a liability. You just caused us to fail the mission, so we have to treat you like Tarantulas now." Shoot on sight. I don't know what they
Yeah.
do.
I
It's
mean,
not a really.
it's not like they kill Predacons in this show, so like, what are they going to do to depth charge?
Ride him, right? Like Dinobot rode Tarantulas.
The ultimate humiliation. Cheers.
And so depth charge goes. So after Optimal is like, you can't keep acting as an independent, and he's like, I'll think about it. And then he turns to like Rattrap and the others, and he's like, this crew sure needs something. And then depth charge turns to the camera and like
Winks.
comically winks. And Optimus has like a smile and like they high five. Like they do. He goes down low.
Oh, they do. Fuck, they do actually high five.
Yeah, Optimus goes down low. And
Well, I guess he's not a renegade anymore.
Nope.
That's all it took, was just a stern talking to from Optimus Primal.
yeah, from Daddy Big Gorilla. Doesn't sound right. Daddy Jet Ape. There we go. Fuck.
Daddy Ape Bucks.
Daddy Ape. You saw where I was going.
Yeah. I
I'm
saw.
like, I can't make that work. I'm gonna give up.
I'm almost about ready to give up on this episode. So the final scene is at the dark side, and Megatron is there.
He's pressing buttons on Sentinel's command console.
And the little
A
like
big red
doorway that has the Maximal symbol on it opens up, and a big red button comes out, just like in A Better Mousetrap.
Yep.
And Megatron's like, Sentinel online.
And a fucking shield goes around. A shield goes around the very bad-looking dark side. Holy shit, is it in bad repair?
Look, they need this, okay?
They did. Because what, like Ravage almost destroyed the ship with his bird of prey.
The fucking alien moon.
Oh, I forgot they didn't have shields at the time, right? The number of explosions that the Maximals have done breaking and entering into the fucking dark side, like they need.
Yeah, when Optimus Primal was all like roid raged out and like went all slasher villain and trashed the ship, and
yeah, there's been a lot of explosions. It's amazing.
They need this.
They did.
I did kind of get chills hearing Megatron say Sentinel online. I'm like, and
yeah.
I think that just comes down to David Kay's delivery.
Yeah, I agree. The ending was interesting.
And
that's it, folks.
Mercifully, that's the end of this episode.
Mercifully.
So here
I was gonna be a downer.
So
I was gonna be like, man, I hope Christopher doesn't love this episode.
So here on Too Much Energon, we rate episodes of Beast Wars on the Too Much Energon scale, which is not enough Energon to sufficient Energon to too much Energon, which is basically bad, decent, good.
Yep.
So on the Too Much Energon scale, Cal, what are you giving Changing of the Guard?
It gets a not enough Energon for me.
All right.
It is close to one of the most meh episodes.
That's the thing, is like this episode isn't even like it's not even like there's nothing offensively bad about it. It's just it's so nothing and bleh.
Yeah. Like I like moments of it. I like Optimal giving everyone a harsh, stern talking to. I like, Jacques Cousteau. Fucking James Cameron exploring the deep.
Yeah, that was good.
That part's, other than him, the little music and the music playing through the fucking radio. Other than little teeny bits like that, it's completely forgettable. It doesn't lend anything to it, except that the Predacons have Sentinel. You'd think a big episode like the Predacons acquiring Sentinel would be more memorable.
You'd think. But see, the Predacons acquiring Sentinel, though, like, it literally could have just, like, an episode could have opened with them pulling Sentinel out of the wreckage of the Axalon and then setting it up.
Sounds amazing.
And, like, literally in the first, like, minute of an episode, an episode could have started with them, like, pulling Sentinel out of the wreckage of the Axalon and then activating it and being like, "Ah, yes, now we have Sentinel. Very good. Excellent." And then, like, a completely different episode, like, another plot.
It
like,
could have happened in the
carried on.
background, and
Yeah.
it could have given us an interesting plot.
We didn't need all of this bullshit. We didn't need to see DMX and the Punisher fight again for the second week in a row.
I mean, that's kind of what it is, right?
Yeah, no, this is my least favorite episode in quite a while. And I wasn't...
Are you giving it a rating?
Sorry, I guess I kind of hijacked the conversation there.
People assumed. No, that's okay. People, we probably know what's coming.
Oh, yes, that gets a not enough Energon. Much like you, I like Jacques Cousteau with the little, like, exploring the deep and, like, the little music coming through the radio. And I like Megatron activating Sentinel at the end. And
when the best part of an episode is Megatron laughing and pressing a button. I'm just saying.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
There's far too much forgettable fight scene between DMX and the Punisher, like you said. Deep Metal Part 2, Underwater Boogaloo.
Shabadoo and Boogaloo Shrimp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are actually characters from that movie. Breakin'.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, Electric Boogaloo was, like, the title comes from the movie Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the two main characters in that movie's names are Shabadoo and Boogaloo Shrimp.
It kind of makes me want to watch it.
I know, right? I've never seen it, but I listened to a podcast where they talk about it.
For some reason, I thought you said bacon, and I'm like, I like bacon. Break in, okay.
Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo. Shabadoo
and
Boogaloo Shrimp.
Boogaloo Shrimp. Okay.
I feel like
See
we
how
should.
Interesting.
I feel like we should watch it together and, like, record a commentary track.
I'd be down for that. Anything with character names like that, it has to be good, right?
Yeah. So that has been the third episode of Season 3 of Beast Wars. Changing of the Guard. I almost said DMX versus the Punisher.
Which, just as a sentence by itself, sounds amazing.
It sounds much
if someone
more...
did a 30-second animation, I bet you it would be hype.
They just, like, stop motion them, like, over the character models in this episode.
Not even just do stop motion with toys, the little Punisher figurine, and there has to be a DMX figurine. Somebody 3D print that shit. Rest in peace.
If you want to support the show, wherever you're listening to this, leave us a 5-star rating or a like, a subscribe, a positive comment, something, anything. If
Say
you
hello.
If you want to get in touch with us, send us an email, toomuchenergon@outlook.com, or if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment. We might read it on the show later, on a future episode of the show. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I am at Lasercomb, LAZORCOMB, and Cal, you are?
I am Neo_Cal. Cal with a K. You can, if you follow Christopher, if you follow Lasercomb, you can follow Too Much Energon page, by the way,
Yes.
at Too Much Energon. You're gonna see me tagged in there. I joined Twitter. Didn't know that you weren't supposed to use underscores in your names. I guess I'm just 2000 and late on that.
Is that a thing you that came up recently?
I'm just like noticing everyone else's names, and I'm like, man, there's not a single person with an underscore in their name. Probably because saying underscore is 3 goddamn syllables long.
And
It's just a pain in the butt to say.
and kids today don't have time for that shit, damn it.
They don't. They just say undie. Sounds like an Australian word, but not an Australian slang, but not for underwear. Like underwear is knickers, and undie is like something else. I know in some places in Canada they say a hundo for a $100 bill.
Dollary dues.
Dollary dues. Plenty of them down under.
Speaking of dollary dues, check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/lasercomb. And go to our website, www.toomuchenergon.ca. You can find social media links and embedded players of every single episode of this podcast.
And I'm not wearing one, but on the website I hear say you can find links to some merch.
Yes, tpublic.com/too_much-energon. I feel like we've spent more time telling people where they can find us than we did actually talking about this episode of Beast Wars.
Which is funny because that's probably a rather short. Like you can find us at.
Yeah,
segment.
we'll be back. We will be back next week with the 4th episode of season 3, Cutting Edge. I'm looking forward to this one because this episode was written by Ian Weir. Ian Weir previously wrote Code of Hero, Possession, and Dark Designs.
Dark Design, that's it.
Which
I was like, oh, I know what it is.
Those are 3 of the best episodes of the show. So,
I'm kind of stoked.
So,
we can only go up from here.
So I have some hopes that maybe
so
the guy
telling me there's a chance
that maybe the guy that wrote 3 of the best episodes of the show might deliver a decent episode of season 3.
We need a Hail Mary.
We need this, damn it. We need this much like the Predacons needed Sentinel.
Yeah. Maybe not as much, but it would be nice.
Speak for yourself.
Okay.
We're going to get out of here now because at the time of recording, my pre-order of Resident Evil Village has just unlocked, and I am fucking stoked to go play that. So
that surprised me. That snuck up on me. Hope you enjoy it, man. I was like, what? It's out already? But it's only... And I'm like, oh god, it's May.
Oh god, we're almost halfway through 2021. 2020,
part 2.
20 harder.
COVID Boogaloo.
COVID Boogaloo. All right. Until next week, Beast Mode.
Beast Mode.
Beast Mode! Beast Wars!
Greetings, Predacons, and welcome to episode 38 of Too Much Energon, the Beast... Fuck. Nope.
The Beast Fuck.
The Beast Fuck. All right, starting that over again.
That was my nickname in high school.
The Beast Fuck.
I don't know. Whenever somebody does word salad, I don't know if you've noticed, I do it on alphanumeric too. Whenever somebody flubs a word, I just like subtly throw in that's my version of that's what she said.
Uh,
That was my nickname in high school.
all right.